Sync. There we
Close
go.
enough. You were a little behind me, but that'll work. The sync. Okay. All right. So I guess we can start on this. Oh, it's been so long. It's been like the holidays, and then Alliance actually being confirmed, and then it being delayed again. Is this the intro? I guess this is the intro. Welcome to Starmadas.
I guess this is the intro. But what's a week? Really, like, in the grand scheme of things, what's a delay of 1 week? Even if it's 2 weeks, our UK friends, we're sorry. We don't know. We don't have an answer for you. We're sorry. Blame WizKids. Hashtag blame WizKids. I'm going to make that trend on Twitter. Nobody will know why. But it's going to be a
You
thing.
need to just, like, pay some celebrity to say it with some rage tweet about politics, and then everyone will use it. They don't care.
Oh, no. There are celebrities who play HeroClix. And their HeroClix is going through a new rules update. So Blame WizKids might actually start trending.
Yeah, I could see that then. All right. So
Anyway, we're not here about HeroClix. We're here about Star Trek Attack
Yes.
Wing, which, by the way, as I posted on WizKids' Facebook page when they announced Alliance stuff hitting stores soon, trademark soon, Attack Wing lives. And boy, is that actually real.
All
But
right.
more specifically, we're here to talk about a faction that is, not in Alliance. That might be an Alliance if
What's
Alliance comes to fruition.
Yeah, because they were talking about. They reiterated again and again. Nothing is like written in stone. This is all just hearsay possibilities that they might do if things work out, best case scenario sort of thing. But they were saying they would try to round out the Dominion War with the Klingons as a pack and the Romulans as a pack, because those were factions in the Dominion War that fought the Dominion.
Yeah,
Which makes
but how
me
cool would it be to see like a good Rataran and Defiant and stuff like that?
Although I guess they wouldn't be named ships though, because the Alliance
still.
doesn't use names. I don't think. I mean, I did pitch once to the guy who designed it, because I knew they were going to have conversions in there, or I had a hunch that it would have conversions for old ships, so we could use more than just the Akira and the Excelsior, because that's how Heroes of the Star Cluster worked. And so I was like, hey, can I play as the Robinson? Because I want to play as a Jem'Hadar fighting the Jem'Hadar, because I love how ridiculous that is. And he was all like, it's not balanced for that,
Yeah.
but I guess you could.
Well, and who's to say that one of those packs couldn't have playable Dominion ships up against Romulan or Klingon AI ships?
That would be interesting. I would like to see some Cardassians, but in speaking of Klingons, we should probably avoid going triple, because we've got half an hour to get through 6 bullet points here.
Yeah. Okay, so Klingons.
Klingons. What is the identity of the Klingons? I mean, that's probably the easiest question to answer in all of Star Trek, even possibly easier than the Federation. They're...
Run away and hide.
I guess so, in a way.
Oh, I got that wrong.
I thought you were being serious, because they do a lot of that, actually, when you think about it.
Okay, so I'm partially serious. They do like to hide. Cloaking is very much a part of Klingon tactics. But run away is not.
Well, if they can cover up the fact that they were running away, I've seen a lot of cowardly Klingons. But yeah, Klingons, they're the honor-bound warrior race that thinks that beating things with a stick, or I should say more like, thinks that sneaking up on people who are unarmed and defenseless and then killing them, it counts as honorable, because that's something they do a lot.
To be fair, Klingons are the number one faction that would have no problem attacking and destroying a shuttlecraft with nothing on it.
Or, blowing up a medical station. They would do that too.
Yeah. because that's thematic. Klingons want to seek out and destroy anything and everything in their path.
Yeah, the greater the challenge, the more honor there is. But as long as there isn't technically dishonor, then they're okay with it.
Unless you're Duras.
Duras.
In which case you can have some dishonorable tactics, but I'm probably jumping ahead there. But, okay, so what do they bring to the game?
Oh,
High attack values.
high attack value for low cost.
Yeah, really, they're the discount high attack, meaning they're glass cannons.
Well, I mean, when you look at the cavort, there ain't too much glass about that five hull there. But when you talk about the
Fair?
barrels, then yeah, those are glass cannons, definitely. Talking about, like, they almost make me want to rewrite my whole tier system because it's such a weak ship, but it carries a flippin' 4 attack dice. I still can't get over that.
Okay, so even the Vorcha, right? The Vorcha is a 5 attack die with 5 hull and 2 or 3 shields, named or generic. So 7 or 8 durability. Technically, that can be one shot. It's tough to one shot, but it can be.
Probably, yeah. I remember.
Yeah,
True Flight
okay.
says that. I think it was an older video though, but he mentioned that in his opinion, the Vorcha class was the strongest ship in the game, like the best ship in the game. I think I'm guessing he was talking about the overall balance of cost, durability, and offense to it. Not to mention it has that copy paste. What is it called? Maneuver dial. The standard maneuver dial. Oh, that's the other thing I love about the Klingons. They have great fleet harmony in the fact that all their ships have the same maneuver dial with only minor variations. Which makes them... So they're easy to fly together. Just talk to Jeff Sonis' son about that.
It makes them great to fly together, which is... it makes them actually a very, very, very good learning faction for flying. And for trying to pull off some complicated things like a bank turn, getting everybody to bank together and stay in formation and then bank the other way. It's a very good thing. Yeah, I remember a long, long, long time ago, and I'll see if I can pull it up, but Ella and I played a game where she played a fleet of Vorchas and I played a fleet of Keldons. And we went up against each other, and I came out just on top. But that was an interesting game, an interesting challenge, and it was way early in the game's life.
Mm-hmm.
But those at least at the time
cloaks,
were
right?
too. Yeah, no, well, okay, you could. I didn't run cloaking Keldons, but. It's more, Keldons had the 180, but a little less firepower, but they had battle stations, whereas Vorchas relied solely on target locks. Plus upgrade cards.
And that's actually another thing to bring up about them. Should we mention that now in the identity of the faction, or should we save that for how to build? The lack of battle stations. Go into that. Okay. Yeah. They are definitely, I would say, more about high attack dice, but not so much about the quality. I know there's probably some sets you can buy to get great quality, but they kind of... It's not like the Federation where, find a way to throw battle stations on there. Klingons don't have many ways to get battle stations. Like, I'm thinking, there's some that let you convert battle stations, but they don't actually give you the token.
Yeah.
It's more so just
right,
about
you've got Drex and Garen.
Quality, like Worf, which turns all your blanks into hits.
Yeah.
Or things where it's all like, you get to change 1, maybe 2 dice into a hit. And so the idea is you have to stock up on all those cards.
Right. You do have Admiral Gowron.
Oh, yeah, he's a good one.
He's very good, and especially in a Klingon fleet, I would call him indispensable. I know we're moving into building, but...
We can actually segue that right into our second point, which is, what do you need in order to play this faction? And I would say
Yeah.
get Galron. He's with the is it the? It's a Vorcha class actually. I think that he comes with.
It is a Vorcha class.
And it's one of the only ways to get Cloaked Mines, and the only way to get a card that destroys Cloaked Mines. So honestly, it's up there on like the basics to buy. But I feel like a lot of people don't buy this ship. It's where is it? It is IKS Dranova.
Is it the Dravana? I want to say it's the Dravana.
Dravana. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Dravana.
5-1, 5-3. That's a tech, 2 weapons, 1 crew. Fortunately, that's the other thing about the Klingons. You don't get lots of crew with them. You're lucky to get...
No.
Sometimes you're just lucky to get 1, actually. You're really lucky if you can get a ship that has 2. It's almost...
And actually, it's a nice... the Dravana is a nice pack because you also get detonation codes.
Yeah, that's the only one that lets you destroy mines. So this is an X-Wing where they just destroy themselves on their own. No, our minefields stick around. I mean, there's a whole story arc in DS9 about trying to get rid of a minefield that lasted how many episodes? Almost a full season, I think.
Oh,
Or a season.
or at least a half season.
Yeah, it was either a season and a half or a half season. I can't remember. But yeah.
It was a good while.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say it, but the other indispensable purchase for Klingons is the 2017 starter set.
Yeah, not many cards in there, but the ones you get are good ones, because that Vorn is, in my opinion, one of the best ships in the game.
Well, it's the Vorn, Kempik's attack cruiser.
Yeah, that gets you. That's another way to get
awesome...
battle stations right there, because it gives it to all your
It
allies.
is.
Kempak himself is useful in a pinch. I like him for some odd builds. I wouldn't say he's a really competitive card, but he's useful. He's the one who lets you, I think, guarantee 3 evade in exchange for destroying one of your shields.
Yeah. Not my favorite thing, but something that's at least interesting.
If you make a build which automatically repairs 1 shield every turn, he becomes pretty nice. But as soon as your build gets disrupted, things fall apart quickly. Because your ship only has, 2, 3 shields to begin with?
Yeah, but you can put them on something else, too. Crew Wharf on there, which is the when attacking, if you're cloaked, convert your blanks to hits. It's a little pricey, but it's still a really good ability.
Yeah, that's...
and there's some other nice talents in there.
I have been tempted. I have been tempted on more than one occasion to purchase the Borg Klingon Burrell, put Worf on there, and then pay the extra points to get the tractor beam and the cutting beam to roll a perfect quality a perfect quality 10 dice attack. But I did the math once, and you would never be able to bring that into a tournament because unfortunately it costs over 50 points because of how expensive
No, but it's still fun.
Those points.
Yeah, that's a fun mission thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
if you're like attacking a base or a space station, you could just destroy the thing in 1 or 2 shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some other interesting Klingon stuff.
I would say a must-have for the faction. Although it's not necessarily the best pack for like what type of cards you get, it's very much a stacked pack. You get a lot of cards with it. And best of all, if you like playing because, you know, you enjoy the show, which most of us do, you're going to want to pick up the Ning Tao. Because it comes with so many notable Klingons. Just in that pack, it comes with 2 copies of Core, for Pete's sake.
I actually consider that one indispensable. Those are really good captain cores.
Mm-hmm. There's a...
Although the animated also has some nice
I think
core,
it comes with Martok as well, right? With oh, yeah.
I'm sure it comes with a version of Martok.
Yeah, that was the version I had for ages, the quote-unquote bad version of Martok, but I like that version of Martok. The Martok 7, I think it was. He's the one who only does the increased dice and stuff.
Yeah. Now, if you want a fun thematic purchase, the Groth.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Interesting ship, but also tribbles, projected stasis field.
I think that may have been one of my first.
You get some nice ships.
Yeah, that's the comes with the indispensable projected stasis field, of course.
Yeah.
and the ever so fun but impractical tribbles.
Not Klingon useful, but you know what? Still useful overall.
It also comes with the Ning Tao comes with a wharf, which is very defensive and useful.
Yeah, that wharf.
Yeah, and as for the Garath, it comes with a D7, and D7s, of course, thanks to the animated pack, have now been reduced to be arguably one of the best swarm ships. It's kind of the Burrell's durability, which is funny talking about a Burrell and durability, but the Burrell's durability gives it an edge up over the D7. But the D7 coming in at 11 points, letting you run, I think, 9 of them for less than 100 points. Yeah, you can run 9 of them for less than 100 points.
Yeah, technically.
That's great. And they have battle stations. The downside is they will get one shot. You might be lucky to get by with them getting shot twice. I've had that happen in a game where it actually survived more than one shot. But yeah, the D7 swarm build where you bring like 9 D7s in is the ultimate glass cannon swarm. But then again, you've got 9 D7s. It's going to take them a while to kill you.
Unless they have their own copy of Torpedo Fusillade.
Oh, yeah, Torpedo Fuselage. And speaking of sets you need to buy, that's another from the 2017. So let's see, our must-have picks of the 2017 starter set, which unfortunately is ridiculously expensive and very hard to find. Then you've got the not ridiculously expensive in retail. If you can find one in a shop, it'll be, $35, $40. Depending on your country, because that's how much it would be in Canada. It'd probably be more.
The animated series faction pack.
That's a good one. It comes with 2 Klingon ships, which is interesting. Not too many Klingon upgrades, sadly. That's more reserved for the Federation. But it does have more Klingon ships than any other ship in the pack. Then you'd want the Ning Tao and the Dranova. Dravana.
Yeah, okay.
Do you think
it's Klingon? Who
Chang's
can
Bird of
pronounce
Prey
any
is a
of
must?
I don't. I find it interesting. I think it does still have some competitive viability even today. I like the now that Klingons have cheaper photon torpedoes. By the way, that makes the
Samra.
The Vest Battle card pack essential because you need cheaper Klingon photon torpedoes, and they actually are pretty good torpedoes.
Yeah, those are the ones that there's one set of torpedoes where you don't need to spend your target lock. There are torpedoes where you don't even need a target lock. Like I think the OP Ferengi torpedoes don't need one, but at least with the Klingon ones, you don't need to spend it. Which is I feel like there needs to be more cards where you gain a target lock, but you don't need to spend it. Because let's be honest, if you're going to have a weapon that's a disable, I don't want to have to spend my target lock.
Yeah, and those Klingon torpedoes are just 2 time tokens. You have to have the target lock, but you don't spend it, and you get a battle station to crit conversion, which is nice, and they're forward and rear arc.
All right, so there's so we've got the animated pack 2017 starter Ning Tao, Dravana, and what was the card pack's name? It belonged to the Samra. You don't actually need to have the Samra in order to play the card pack, but it's like if you don't want to waste the cards, you'd want to pick up the Samra.
Right, it's the Ves Battle. The VES space BATLH.
Oh. So it's not battle, it's bata? Or I once tried to learn Klingon. I gave up after like one video.
There's a lot of interesting things. The Bortos, the Hegta, those are prize ships. They're interesting. The Groth was interesting.
Oh yeah, the Groth was
one
of our must-haves. The Groth because of just a couple.
I think it's a thematic must-have.
It's
Yeah.
It's got the projected stasis field, but then again, if you have the animated pack, you kind of have the diet version of projected stasis field.
I guess.
It's not quite as good, but it's something. I mean, projected stasis field cancels, I think stops the enemy from attacking, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, that makes it one of those nasty cards.
And drops their shields.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate board killer.
And I guess, I mean, technically, Lurin's Bird of Prey is a Klingon ship. So the
Ooh.
Ferengi faction pack is a thing, but I'm saying this through gritted teeth, and I don't wanna.
It is.
But
It's a
like,
must-have for the Ferengi faction because it gives them the Burrell. If you want to play
and I guess
faction mixing, then you know what? Loren's Bird of Prey is a must, and you can't buy that on its own. It's one you have to buy in the Ferengi faction pack because you aren't paying
so.
you aren't
I
paying
mean, but
faction penalties for any of your independent cards.
but it is still a Klingon ship that's cheap, and that is
Mm-hmm.
worth something.
Also, if you're playing with people who like don't like to look things up online but know that there's price reductions, then Loren's Bird of Prey is a good way to get proof that they have been reduced to 13 points for a generic Burrell.
Yeah, there is that. I guess what we're getting at is there's a lot of good Klingon stuff out there. Some of it you got to pay an arm and a leg for. Some of it you don't have to.
Now, that,
There's enough retail ships out there.
I would.
But if you can find stuff, some of the boosters aren't super expensive. The Bemoth, the Baroque, those aren't terribly overpriced. Some of the price ships aren't super expensive because they were later on, and I think they're only card packs, not necessarily models. So those might be better, but yeah, just kind of find your favorite Klingon characters and chase down the packs that they're in, and you'll find good Klingon stuff.
Ooh. I picked up the last Klingon ship I think I bought was the Pa, which I don't think was that great of a pack, but it came with two Federation cards, which is interesting, which was the crew Riker that comes with an elite talent slot, making him one of I think 3 crew cards that come with elite talent slots.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there is also I think a version of what is it? The Duras sisters that can swap.
Oh
in as
yeah,
either
Lursa
crew or
Bator.
captains, and they have
Right.
elite talent, so they can be crew with elite. And then there's it comes with that one of the very few I can heal you cards, which turn your ship into a healer, but it's a very inefficient healer. But it at least is a healer. I'm happy to see support cards put into Alliance. I was really hoping there would be a healing card, though.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't want War of Attrition in the middle of the game, because it looks like the matches are timed to about 10
Yeah.
minutes. Okay,
I think that was part of the game design, which is let things die.
I think another important thing we need to talk about while we're still talking about how to, I guess we can talk about this in the how to build section. How to build Klingons. They aren't very, I've been playing for 2 and a bit years. Wow, that doesn't seem like such a long time. But, I mean, I've dove really deep into this game, so I know my stuff usually, but there are a couple things I still don't know, and to me, Klingons seem like a very simplistic faction in terms of how to build them and stuff. It doesn't seem like too crazy complex like the Federation gets, but I know for a fact I'm wrong about that. I remember I was talking to you about this, and you were saying that the reason they're like a good beginner faction is, yeah, they are very simple and easy to build for, but you can push it. You can push that limit, right? And get more out of them.
Yes. Yeah, you really can push the. So let me put it to you this way. At first glance, Klingons become a faction that you don't have to do much with. You can run them as a swarm faction. Maybe put on some basic captains, an upgrade here or there, and just kind of go to town and put like 5, 6 ships on the board against your opponent's 2, 3, and you win a war of numbers, and that becomes a really interesting way to go about it, because you're like, oh, how do I combat that? But then you start looking more into it, and Klingons become a very synergistic faction. Lursa Bator have a captain ability to get a free cloak or a free echo. Well, that puts you in a good firing position. They have high captain skill with Martok and the aforementioned Lursa Bator with Core, with Admiral Gowron giving a skill boost. And those give you great options. They have some defensive abilities where they become harder to hit. And then if they do take damage, they can hit you back harder. And yet, with all of that being said, the Klingons, if they lose one piece of the fleet, they keep on flying. They're very independent in nature, whereas a lot of other factions tend to rely on the whole fleet working together. And so even with the complexities that can keep mounting of the Klingon faction, they can still be very very player friendly. When things start going wrong, you can make a lot still work for you because you haven't lost every single piece of your fleet that was necessary in order for everything to have in order to go right. You still have enough firepower and enough built on a ship for it to happen. Sure, maybe you've lost a piece. Maybe you've lost Admiral Gowron. You can't get battle stations. Does that suck? Yeah. Yeah, that's not ideal. Maybe you don't have access to Bator's talent. Okay, that's a downer. But you still have your raw firepower of the ships that are left. And you learn to adapt, and you learn to make the best of what you have with it. So there's a ton out there, and it doesn't take much for Klingon ships to be scary. Because they're scary with nothing on them. But if you leave them with nothing on them, they actually aren't that scary because it means they're attacking last, and they'll die before they ever get to shoot. So yeah, that's some of the strategy that's inherent with the Klingon faction. I probably ranted way too long and everybody lost interest.
No.
But
I wanted to learn some things about that. What would you say is a good formula for building a, let's say, just one Klingon ship under 50 points? Like, under 40 points, maybe. Like, well, actually, let's throw the point value out the window. What is just a good formula for building a well-rounded ship? You don't even need to name specific cards. Like, what do you want on it? Like, because like with the Federations, you don't really want to throw secondary weapons on there because there aren't really that many good secondary weapons for the Federation. They've just got like 80,000 copies of photon torpedoes in varying degrees of effectiveness.
Sure. Okay, so Klingons, it'll depend on what you're trying to accomplish with your build. I think that Klingons can go a couple of different routes. Here's a route that I'd like to take, that I've seen work well. Pick a bunch of ships with secondary arcs. Forward 90, rear 90. Put photon torpedoes on them. Give yourself coverage. That way, if you do a come about and things don't go right, you still have a firing solution on somebody. Or if somebody gets in behind you, you can still shoot at them. Okay? So take that. You want to put a decent captain on there. And by decent captain, I mean decent captain skill. Decent captain skill doesn't have to be skill 8, 9, 10. You don't have to go to the roof. Federation will almost always outskill you no matter what you do. That's just what they do. People that want to run Gen Con or any of that, they will outskill you. So you can't fight that war. Klingons don't have the tools. They do with the skill wharf that gives you a +3 to a Klingon captain, but then you're running that wharf and not a different wharf. And I think a different wharf is better, the wharf that gives you the conversions if you're cloaked. And then I think you want some kind of quality. Naked Klingons, or Klingons that just rely on target locks, aren't strong enough to be super scary. You can run those. You absolutely can run them. But overall, I want to say don't over-invest in any given ship. If your base ship costs, say, 20 points, you're looking to spend 5 to 10 points adding on to it and get out. You're not building dreadnoughts when you run Klingon ships. Maybe throw on a Klingon cloaking device from the animated series pack. If you want to go defensive, that's great. But you can also get away with one
Kelvin.
defensive ship.
Sorry, Kelvin pack.
Yeah.
Is the cloaking device.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Was it animated?
No, it was the Kelvin timeline pack, and it had
was the Kelvin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it had a picture of the cloaking device from the episode where Quark stole a cloaking device from Martok's ship.
Okay.
Sorry about that, but yeah. So throw your cloaking device.
No, you're good. Yeah, so like one way you could do a defensive ship is put a Core 6 taunting core, as I like to call them, that draws in fire, gets extra defense dice. Put a Klingon cloaking device on there, and actually I don't think that works. I'm probably backwards on that.
No. I think that works good.
There's some things you can do.
There's also Toral, which is sort of like it strips one of the powers from Hood Riker, which is a 2-point convert 1 battle stations to an evade. I like that for defensive Klingon builds.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is there are interesting ways you can run defensive Klingons and still make use of that.
Okay.
As I'm now looking at core. And
All right, so that's how to build them. General strategies. How about how to kill them? That's something I could use. Aside from just score more points, I would say.
Oh, you didn't like my sarcastic answer last time?
I would say the one piece of advice I can give you for killing Klingons is get behind them. They don't have enough rear firing arcs on their ships. They don't have any sideways, like 180 arcs, and they have very few 360 fire cards. They do have some. I think strafing attack is a 360 fire, but it's at like range 1. So yeah, get in behind them, shoot them from the side. That's a good way to fight Klingons. What do you have?
Try to mess with their upgrades, because a lot of their ability to either repeatedly come about or fire off forward arc is built on upgrade cards. So if you can disable, steal, force a discard, put time tokens on their stuff, then they can't use their stuff against you. And I think a lot of people underestimate, underuse, don't bring anything to mess with your opponent. And I've said it before, right? I will say it again, I will always say it. If you let your opponent do what they want to do with a build, they will win.
So bring gank cards to a Klingon fight.
Well, so normally I wouldn't say that, because Klingons are probably the #1 faction that wants to just straight up joust you and have at it, because they don't have many upgrades. So I guess maybe that's the other thing. Don't joust Klingons. If you take nothing else away from today's video, do not joust Klingons. Make them turn. Yeah, they can probably fly with you, but make them turn. Make them do a maneuver other than a straight and a come about.
Minefields, do they work against them? Well,
minefields work very well against Klingons. Probably better than most other factions.
That's the other thing. Klingons like to keep cloaked, so they don't have shields up. So honestly, although you're looking at a ship that has maybe 8 defense, like 8 durability, in reality it might have 4 or 5.
Yeah, and That's the perfect time to get a crit in.
Bring your
One of the
anti-cloak
other things you
cards
can
as
do,
well.
anything that does direct damage to hull, either as an ability that will bypass shields or an action that deals damage. I'm thinking like Matt Decker. If you can just pop in and do more damage, you're golden.
There's also the Federation, and I think probably some other factions, but more so Federation, have some pretty good anti-cloak cards. Some of which you can find in the 2017 starter set. So if you've bought that to fight the to play as Klingons, you also have it to fight the Klingons. And the USS Hood, the elusive USS Hood, also is a good anti-cloak ship. And I think there's a Enterprise prize ship, which is anti-cloak as well.
Probably. I don't. Truth be told, I don't remember.
I think it's like it's a weird like disable a shield and then. No, if you have a scan token, you get a +1 against cloak. The Hood is just a straight up +1 against the Hood. There is a card in the 2017 starter set which lets you enemies, I think, roll 1 less defense if they're cloaked. I like to usually throw all those cards onto one ship and make like an anti-cloak ship. There's a Data in the 2017 starter, which is as an action lets you straight up just turn off their cloak. It does raise their shields, but to me turning off the cloak is more effective than just flipping it to its red side like a lot of cards do. Because honestly, your enemy's probably going to flip their card to the red side anyway. Unless they're like a Romulan science vessel, they're probably going to spend their cloak.
I agree with that. Yeah, sure, it gives them their shields back, but it still messes with them. Messes with their plan.
If they're flying a Burrell, it gives them their one shield back, maybe. Oh wait, no, Burrells have 3. What am I talking about? Dang it. Unless it's a generic. And it has 2.
Still.
The Burrells are so broken. They really need to release just a list of new point values for all ships that should be repriced instead of just leaking it out slowly. Because I think it would have worked, but they decided to leak them all out very slowly because they had production issues. So now it's just like a quarter of the ships have been repriced, and it's not fun. That's
painful. Yeah. The other thing I'll say on how do you beat them, bring some multi-attack cards. Ooh. Anything that lets you, additional phaser arrays that let you shoot a second time, be it at the same target or a different target. Dispersal pattern Sierra. Things like that give you 1 extra attack because you're probably outnumbered with Klingons, so getting more attacks in is beneficial to you.
Okay. All right. Should we move on to our top 5?
I think we should. So, our top 5 cards that feel thematic. Make us feel like we're a Klingon when we play them.
Yes.
So, I have an honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Because I used to feel like a Klingon when I played it. And then the rule of 3 hit.
Oh no.
Now I don't feel like
a Klingon
when I play it.
I can't think of its name. I have a brief memory
of Barrage of Fire.
Oof. Barrage of Fire.
I mean, to be fair, I have a second one.
I don't know if I have that one. I think I might. Let me see.
Yeah, Barrage of Fire was a weapon that said, I take my attack. Oh, and I borrow your attack. And I attack you at once. But then you still get to attack. Yeah.
So you stole an enemy's
it was grand.
attack, was it?
No. You borrowed one of your friendly ships.
Oh, okay.
So you could take Barrage of Fire, which was a 4 attack die weapon, but you added a friendly ship's primary weapon to the attack. So you'd borrow a Vorcha, you'd add 5 dice to it, and you'd attack somebody with 9 dice.
I wouldn't mind seeing a errata, which lets you just perform 2 attacks, one with a friendly primary weapon. That would be a good way around that rule.
It would be.
I mean, it would also be awful to play against, but it would feel Klingon.
It's a prize card, and nobody really cares to fix it now.
All right. Well, then I guess my
But it really made me feel like a Klingon, which is like, yeah, I'm going all in right now.
okay.
And we're just going to kill you more.
I would say my probably if I had to pick an. I mean, I usually throw my honorable mentions attached to cards, so it's like, oh, I couldn't pick between these two. But I'll just throw out an honorable mention for 6th place, which will be strafing attack, because that just sounds Klingon. It's a strafing attack. You come in, you attack. I don't even care what the ability really is. I think it's a simple. I think it's just a 360 attack against 2 ships at range 1, with 3 dice. But it feels Klingon, you know. It even has a picture of them blowing up the DS9. Okay, so what is your number 5? Or
My
I
number
think
5
really
is that card that I probably should throw out, but it's Duras.
Duras.
Now Duras, even today, still makes me feel like a Klingon because he's throwing everything out the airlock, doing whatever it takes to make that attack. And sure, he doesn't give me as many dice as he used to, but he still does what it takes to hurt the enemy as best he can.
Wasn't there an old Oberth Duras build which could crank up to like 13 attack dice or something?
Oh yeah, I've got an
I remember
old
hearing
build
it on the
academy.
Battle Stations podcast. I think it was. I think it had like a Duras. I think they definitely had like a Duras build in one of their things.
Oh yeah,
and
there were some crazy things you could do
ludicrous.
with Duras.
All hands to battle.
All right.
Stations. Okay, so my 5th.
Yeah, you're number 5.
I also went with a captain. So it was kind of hard to choose between the two of these, and so I'll tell them both. So the one I ended up going with for number 5 is Gowron, Admiral Gowron.
Okay.
Just because having Gowron with his Gowron eyes sitting on the table feels very Klingon. The honorable mention for that one is Martok, and that is any Martok, really, just as long as it has Martok on it. And that's because I like to do a killer Martok impression whenever I play Klingons. I go like, let's just read this. Action. When attacking with your primary weapon, gain +1 attack dice and roll -2 attack dice this round. See, that's not a good ability, but I like talking like Martok when I play Klingons. So it's Gowron.
Yeah, but now I want to play it. I am inspired.
Yes. For my campaign series, I had Klingon flavor text videos, and those were always fun to record. But yeah, okay, not always fun. I ended up stopping recording the series because I got very bored recording all those videos. But, so Gowron, basically, if you throw any really big name notable Klingon captain is my 5th place. So Gowron, Martok, Worf if necessary, but throwing down a Klingon, which almost any Star Trek fan who's watched either Deep Space Nine or The Next Generation can look at this card and be all like, oh yeah, that's a Klingon. Like, yeah. Core can even be up there in number 5, depending on the era. If I'm playing the right era, I feel
Don't steal my number 4.
What?
Don't steal my thunder.
Oh, don't worry, I don't have him on my list anywhere else. That's the only slot that was saved for a captain in my spot. So I guess
right.
what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Core 6, the good old core, the taunt core. Action: if your ship is not cloaked, all enemy ships at range 1 to 3 must attack your ship this round if possible.
Ooh.
When defending against each of these attacks, roll +2 defense dice. Core is so honorable, so glorious, he must be attacked. For the glory of the Empire.
For the glory of the Empire. Yes, Core. Old Core is definitely a favorite. I like him for some hijinks.
He makes me feel Klingon. He's like, he's just doing whatever it takes. He's like, no, I got this. No, guys, I got this.
I feel like he would be perfect in a fleet where you only had one Klingon ship and then a whole bunch of other ships, and it's all like, yeah, no, this is the Klingon ship flying around, taking all the damage while everyone else is
Oh, it is.
trying to use their science
it's
gadgets,
great.
and the Klingon's like, ha 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 ha, I'm getting shot.
Yeah.
I didn't mean for it to come out like that. But, yeah. My number 4 is, it vibes the whole hunter vibe of the Klingons, which is, I really aim for the hunter, almost submarine vibe of Klingons. I love that vibe.
Okay.
Yes, there's the whole, I'm going to beat you over the head with a stick vibe, but I love advanced weapon system from the original OG starter set. 5 points. When attacking, you may disable this card before rolling any attack dice to keep your token from flipping to its red side. I just like that for Klingons. That's how I used to always play them when I originally started. I would just throw this card, and that would be my action. If I managed to get out of arc, then I would maybe try something else, or if I couldn't get a shot in. But it was pretty much just a cycle of stay cloaked and shoot. Back when I think I only had like the Vorcha. And then there's, of course, there is another version of this that I think comes in. It's one of the Klingon ships I don't own, and I think it's retail. It comes with a copy of this. And then there's Prototype Cloaking Device, which is the honorable mention for this one, which is simply a similar version of it, but built for Klingon bird of preys only. And it gives you, I think, quality on your roll. I think, yeah, you can choose to gain an ox, I think, to get quality in your attack. So my number 3 for ships and cards that make you feel most Klingon is actually the Vorn. Because again, it feeds into that whole, I want to be cloaked, sneak up on you, and blow you away. Because with the Vorn, you normally roll 4 attack dice, but once you get into range 1, you're rolling 3 extra attack dice. You're rolling 7, I think it is. Because you get +1 for range 1. Then you get +2. And if you're at range 2, well, you get your +1 anyway. And the caveat here is you have to be cloaked in order for this to work. Which I just like. I like that that's a requirement for these powerful cards. And the honorable for that one is the Chang's Bird of Prey. Because that, again, is another great, well, not a great, but it's a combat ability which only works when you're cloaked. And that's firing torpedoes. You don't lose your cloak when you attack with torpedoes.
Yeah. I like it.
Those are 2 ships that really feel Klingon to me. They're, in my opinion, the most Klingon-feeling ships in the game. So that's why the Vorn has my number 3 slot for the most Klingon cards.
I like it. Well, my number 3 might be your number 1. Might not. I don't know. It's talent. Today is a good day to die.
Today is a good day to die.
And no, that's not what a Klingon hairdresser says.
Because they all have black hair. Well, no, some of them are brown.
It's the wrong version of die.
Yeah, no, they're talking about playing D&D. Today is a good day to die. Roll me a D20.
Right.
Everyone knows Klingons
The
are
Klingon
really
short order cook says today is a good day to fry.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, today is a good day to die. Just says, you know what?
Therapist
Me,
says today is
you.
a good day to cry.
Yes, actually, no, nobody would say that.
You gotta cry.
But today is a good day to die. Says me, you, and you sitting across the table, and you know what? You playing at the table next to me. Why not? All of you, we're all gonna turn our hits into crits.
Yes, I love when this ability activates. I don't use it often, but it is so much fun.
It's like, you know what? Why not? Why not? We want to see some carnage. We want everything going boom. And you know what? You get a warp core breach, you get a direct hit, you get an injured captain, you get a communications failure, you get a power disruption. Why not?
It's so cathartic. Oh, I really need to
like,
play that the
okay.
next time I play. I don't care if I'm playing Klingon or not. I should just throw... Well, no, I mean, my next game, I'm going to be playing a Romulan board mirror universe, but this video is going to come out after that, so I can say that.
Okay, there you go.
I'm part of... my next game is going to be like a secret thing where we can't tell people what faction we're playing, but...
Very
let's
nice.
see this video until then, probably. Otherwise, oops, spoiled it.
Yeah. Today
what's
is
your
a good day
number
to die. Can be put on anything, so
yeah.
you're fine.
And it has a great picture of Worf too.
It is. We need a version of Worf with a talent slot,
We just need. I want a Federation version of Worf as a captain.
so he can captain the Defiant,
We
a
better
good
get one
Defiant,
in the
and he can bring
in
Today
the-
is a good day to die.
We need to get a Worf captain for the Boldly Go Federation pack that's going to come out. Well, I'm not going to say going to come out. That's holding hopes up too high.
I'm gonna say it's gonna come out. I'll take it.
All right, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is also a talent, and it's a talent that's, well, outright bad, but it makes me feel Klingon. And that's Cry Havoc! And let's slip the dogs of war! Anyway, I'm overacting.
No, that's
it's
fine.
an
That's what
action,
the show's
and it's
for.
if you're cloaked, you discard the card, remove your cloak token, flip your shields back over to their active sides. You're not cloaked, but you get 2 extra attack dice, and you can't roll defense dice. Because you know what? What's more Klingon than saying, "Yeah, I'm not cloaked. I'm going to get more attack dice. Defense? I don't need any defenses. I got this."
Yeah, that makes some sense. I mean, in terms of numbers, as a valuable, because Klingon ships usually have a 1 defense, so you may as well get your plus 2 in exchange for the 1, right?
Again, I never said it was good, but I did say it was thematic.
Yes. That brings me up. I almost selected. I'll bring this up now. I almost picked. That was from the Chinese Bird of Prey. It came with 3 really thematic.
Yeah, this is from Chang's. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the Games of Foot. Long Live the Empire.
Yes.
That was one I considered picking, but but I didn't. Long Live the Empire, which is another from. I think it's from that, or is that from the old core?
Long Live the Empire? I feel like Long Live the Empire is from the Regent's flagship.
Nah, this is
But-
that Regent's flagship is a mirror universe. I just found it in my Klingon
Yeah.
stack.
Oh, Long
I
Live
think
the
they
Empire.
have a
That's
similar
one of the. That's one of the prize talents. It's from one of the 3 prize ships. I want to say.
No, I think it's Bird of Prey. Someone correct us in the comments or message us on Facebook or Discord or whatever. Not Facebook. Don't message us on Facebook. Don't message me on Facebook. Send us something on Discord, or if I post it on the Facebook group, you can comment. My number 2 is also an elite talent, and this one I actually do think is useful, and that is Blood Oath. It's a Klingon only, range 1 to 3, and it's one of the few kill a captain cards, and what I feel is very Klingon about it, in addition to killing a captain, is you have to put your captain on the line and then gamble it in a battle stations roll-off with 5 battle stations. In order to do this, and it's like, that's the thing about Klingons, right? It's all like, in Starfleet, it's all like, no, the captain's not allowed on a away mission. Klingons is all like, I'm gonna deal with them myself. I'm gonna beam down onto their ship, pull out my knife, and try to stab them in the neck. And the winner gets
Klingon
plus 2
Empire,
captain skill. To me, that is very thematic.
Yeah. With Klingons, if the captain doesn't go on the away mission, he's not the captain anymore.
Yeah.
Or she. By the way, Long Live the Empire is from the Ning Tao.
Ning Tao.
Looked that up.
Okay, and that was the old core, I think.
Yeah.
That's the one with old. Okay, all right. So that's.
It's the double core pack.
You already said your number 2, right? That was Long Live.
Yes,
Okay.
Cry Havoc was number 2.
So my number 1 is you were right. My number 1 is Today is a Good Day to Die, for all the reasons we already spoke about.
Okay.
We are running out of time very quickly,
Yep.
so we'll move on to your number 1.
All right, my number 1, I didn't think it would be number 1, but my number 1 is Alexander, because, and hear me out here. I know. Okay, but But here's what Alexander
The
does.
kid with the bubbles.
He
in the
laughs in
holodeck?
Klingon and says, "Is that your best shot?" And then takes a battle station token, puts it on his card, uses it next round, and hits you back harder.
What? Can you
And
let
that
me
is
do that
such
again?
a Klingon thing to do.
Can you run me
Yeah.
through that quickly again? Because that seemed like a lot. I know it wasn't. but-
Okay. Alexander, here's Alexander. I'll remove the thematicism. Technically, here's Alexander. When your ship takes damage, you place a battle station token on his card. At the start of the planning phase, you can remove a battle station token and place it beside your ship.
Oh, that is very Klingon.
So the Klingon version of this is you get punched in the mouth, you laugh, and you say, "Is that your best shot?" And then you use the battle station token to hit your opponent back harder.
All right. Or you whiz out and use it on defense. Okay.
Or you use it on defense, but you do have to wait around.
All right. So,
You can't use it immediately. But yeah, it's a thematic card.
which brings us to our final section of the show, which is how thematic is the faction? And I gotta say, this is, in my opinion, the most thematic faction in all of Attack Wing. I mean, I know there's the Borg, but come on, Klingons, they feel so Klingon.
They do. They really do.
Yeah, and I don't think we even really need to go into detail about why they're thematic. I think, honestly, it's just go back to the beginning of the video, rewatch it, and there's your answer. Everything in this faction is thematic, except for maybe their glass cannonness. I feel like Klingons deserve tougher ships. And I mean, they are there. You just have to pay the extra points to get them, honestly. Fork out the extra points, and then you'll be flying your tough Klingon ships. But no one wants to do that. We all want to fly Burrells. Too many Burrells.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I polled the audience on thematic cards, and here's some answers from various people.
Ooh.
Today is a good day to die. Cloaking Wharf. That's the conversion wharf when you're cloaked. Duros, Drexengaren, Interrogation, Klingon First Officer, Core 7. You can run non-Klingon cards and still feel like a Klingon, like Mirror Tasha, I Stab at Thee. Martok 8, because then you feel like a commander of the fleet because you're giving out free actions. I actually do agree with that. And of course, the Amar, even though it's a mirror Klingon ship, it is still a Klingon ship, and it does still carry the thematicism with it. So there's some pretty thematic cards out there. You just kind of have to be willing to look for them.
Yeah?
And some of them are pretty good, too.
Well, it is 9:33 p.m. my time. I've got to get ready for work. And I think we've
And
covered
I have
the
to go
faction.
eat dinner.
Oh, wow, okay. What time is it there?
Oh, just 7:30.
Oh, okay, that's not bad for dinner.
No,
Yeah.
it's not bad at all.
Okay, well,
But yeah, all right. Hey, hopefully you all have enjoyed listening to the Klingons. And we'll see you again next time.
kapla!
Kapla!